Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm thrilled, honored, and excited to be connecting in with you. We have been talking about how do we keep that forward momentum going. I feel like January has this amazing energy. We get to all have 2020 vision and the year 2020 and beyond. And when we have that clarity of vision and we are looking at stepping forward powerfully, when we get to February, sometimes we lose some of that momentum, or we need to take a moment, step back a little bit, and realign to our vision and where we're wanting to go forward. So today we have amazing guest experts that are coming together to help us build on that vision, take it to that next level, keep that forward momentum going, and that we can do that through powerful partnerships and relationships. We don't have to do it alone. I hope that's good news for everybody. I love that, that we don't have to take this journey alone. We can actually come together, go further, and have a bigger impact by allowing others in our life. But we want to be strategic. We want to be smart in how we are looking at aligning ourselves with others, that there is a purpose that we're wanting to bring forward, and that we are opening ourselves up for those relationships and those connections that align with what's important to us, with who we're wanting to become, where we're wanting to go, and what we're being called to build. So today, we have these amazing experts that are going to help us with all of those things to help us continue to move forward in powerful ways in our life. But here's the deal. Here's how you can get the most out of our time together today. It's choosing to be fully present, resisting that urge to multitask, and instead choose to be fully present, mind, body, soul, and spirit, that you are ready to receive everything that is here for you today. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe, both hands on the wheel. You're inwardly tuning in. Those of you who are able to, I'm going to invite you to actually put both feet on the floor. Feel it supporting you. Just take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, like through a straw, and keep breathing. This type of breathing helps bring you present. It brings oxygen to every cell in your body. It lowers your cortisol levels, your stress levels, which helps us have clarity in thinking and vision so that we can be fully present. As you're breathing and enjoying this beautiful oxygen coming into your mind and body and spirit, I encourage you to take a moment and close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you in, all of you in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Remember to keep breathing. Wonderful. And in this space, take a moment and check in. What is it that you need today? When you stop, pause, and listen, and you think about moving forward and building those things that matter to you and keeping that forward momentum going in your life and in your relationships and in your business and in who you're becoming, what is it you need? And I'm going to add to this, what is it that you need and are willing to receive, because you absolutely have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? See if that shifts the information a little bit. Please note I did not ask how. I've asked what it is you need and are willing to receive. So just take a moment, receive that information. Great. Let's take a breath. We're going to come back into the room. Eyes open. fully present, and take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive. This helps you start to bring it into reality. You're starting to co-create it. Helps you keep it top of mind so you resist getting distracted and forgetting and perhaps even missing the answer that might be right in front of you. Being open to the wonderful and amazing way and creative way that this need can be met, that you're looking forward to being surprised in the wonder of the amazing way this need will be met real time. Because I know there is something for you here today by the very nature that you are tuning in. And I want you open and ready to receive everything that's going to serve and support you on your journey. Let's breathe that in and lift that up together. Wonderful. We're going to go around our virtual room here and connect in on a heart level with each of our amazing experts so that we all connect heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. I love to start the shows that way. So let's start with Justin. Justin, I'd love for you to share what was laid on your heart when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen.
So thank you for asking. I'm doing this interview from my son's elementary school where I'm running the school book fair and have this amazing business that has been built up over the last 2.5 years, and I'm just so thankful for everything in my life and the people in it for allowing all of this to happen.
Beautiful. I love that thankfulness and being able to do an interview and a book fair all in the same time. I love it.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Excited to have you joining us. Thank you for sharing. And then Jasmine, I'd love to start with you. What was laid on your heart?
Thanks for asking, Rebecca. At that moment, it just felt really good to sit down and just breathe for a second, because this morning I had a lot of just little frustrating things going on. So just being able to take a breath and kind of appreciate those things, it just felt really good.
I love that. It's amazing how breath can feel so good because we run around so much. We sometimes don't take time, or we forget to be still and just kind of breathe. And that's enough in the moment, and we can enjoy the breath. So beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Joseph, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
Thank you for asking, Rebecca, and thanks for having me on the show. But what was laid on my heart, honestly, was really to just be disciplined and intentional in my relationships, whether they be family relationships, friend relationships, or business relationships. A lot of times I feel in life we have different problems and struggles, and we think we have to do or become something else in order to solve those problems. But a lot of times those problems are solved through leaning on our network and our relationships. So be more disciplined in that, and always try to, reach out to people and, just be top of mind. And if you can be of service, be of service.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So important to remember that we're not alone. We don't have to do it alone, and we can lean on others, reach out to others, and we can be that other to those who need support as well. So really important. And I like that discipline, because that is really being intentional and purposeful in our relationships. And that's really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing.
No problem. Thank you.
And listeners, how about you? When you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen, did you feel an echo of anything our guests perhaps shared? Perhaps you're excited about where you are right now, and it took you a moment to, or you get to take that moment to stop and pause and appreciate being and breathing and the opportunities that you're having. Maybe it's that how it feels good to just take a moment and stop and breathe, and that's enough. Or perhaps there's a reminder that has been spoken into your heart and spirit. So as we get ready to go to our first commercial break here, and those beautiful commercials are playing in the background, I invite you to stay present, to really listen to what is being placed on your heart and spirit. Resist that urge to multitask and run and cross things off the list. Give yourself the gift of these 2 minutes, real time, to stop, pause, breathe, process, and receive everything that is here for you. We'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network by keeping up with us on Twitter. You can find us at Voice America TRN.
Voice America is on your favorite smart speaker. If you have Alexa or Google Home, go ahead and give us a try.
Hey Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast on TuneIn.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Find out about new shows, featured guests, and what's up this week. Find us on Facebook by searching keyword Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you had an opportunity to be still, to pause and breathe and listen to what's being laid on your heart and your spirit. That helps you be open to receive everything that is here and be able to process it real time. Instead of adding it to the to-do someday list, you're actually getting to process and integrate it real time. So I encourage you to really take advantage of those 2-minute moments throughout the show. They're really built in to support you so that you can step forward in a really powerful way in your life. So welcome back. We've been talking with amazing experts about how to keep that forward momentum going as you're building your vision, and how to do that in a way that you get to bring in relationships and partnerships that are supportive of where you're wanting to go. It's not a solo journey. I'm so excited to introduce our next amazing guest. You got to hear from him in the opening segment. He's at his son's book fair. So you may hear a little bit in the background, but we're so excited he's been able to find a quiet corner and join us today on the interview. So Justin Breen is the CEO of the PR firm Breckig Communications. His first book, Epic Business, launches on May 19th that we're very excited about. He specializes in writing viral, thought-provoking stories that the media craves. And his firm, Breckig, Justin, can you help me? I keep stumbling over that. I want to make sure we're pronouncing it correctly. Brepic, thank you. And he writes compelling, newsworthy stories for its clients and pitches those stories to media across and around the world. His clients include Allstate, Morgan Stanley, the Salvation Army, universities, national IT firms, schools, and nonprofit organizations. He is passionate about the power of introductions and communication. Can you please lean in the powerful and dynamic Justin Breen? Welcome into the show. Welcome.
Hello, what's up?
I am thrilled to have you joining us today. And I'd love to start our conversation with why. Why is this work of creating these thought-provoking and viral stories, why is that work personally so important to you?
So this is my passion. My unique ability is writing stories and connecting with high-level people and for mutual benefit, helping people's businesses grow and for people to know about them. And literally essentially created a business based on what I really love to do and what I'm good at. So it's really the American dream come true.
I love that. And I know you have been able to create this amazing business that you love that allows you to be at your son's book fair, that allows you a lifestyle you love and gets to do a play to your strength and really bring your amazing gift to the world. And you were able to grow this in a fairly short amount of time. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about that journey of how you've been able to do that and perhaps a tip on how we might be able to too.
Well, the book Epic Businesses certainly talks about that. It's essentially 30 things I learned from very high-level entrepreneurs and CEOs and implementing those 30 things into my business. But the two most important things are doing what you love to do and what you're really good at. And again, that's my entire business model, writing these stories and pitching them to media across the world. And then when you start a business, it really takes 2 full years to figure it out completely. So when I first started, I was kind of all over the place. And over time, and again, years, not weeks or months, I was able to figure it out and really streamline the process, find the right groups of people to connect with. And essentially what my business is a giant farm of incredible people all over the world helping each other, again, for mutual benefit. So it's just a constant connectivity of incredible high-level thinkers, and it's endlessly interesting and stimulating for me.
What a beautiful way to support others and bringing them forward and to build a life that is so meaningful. And a lot of the people that you work with in companies and organizations, I know you refer to them as visionaries. And that's been really key to how you're approaching your business and what you're bringing to the world. And I'd love for you to take a moment and describe what a visionary is and what a visionary isn't.
So it's pretty simple in my mind. If someone asks me, what do you cost within the first 5 minutes, there's no way I'm going to be working with them. Visionaries take things in a whole different way. They say, we're ready to invest. We're excited to invest. What does an investment with you look like? There's somebody that doesn't look at cost. They're looking at long-term, very successful growth and understanding that investing with a firm like mine will lead them to that. So when you weed out folks that look at things as costs and you only focus on very high-level visionaries and exceptional businesses, it creates almost this euphoria because you're only interacting with the right people. So I get questions all the time like, so I live near Chicago, and people are like, how are you talking to folks in Washington State or California or Virginia or Ohio or Indiana or Texas or Utah? And that's where my clients are from, by the way. Most of my clients aren't in Chicago anymore. And I just tell them, well, when you find a visionary, they just connect you to other visionaries because they get it and they want to help. Visionaries also help immensely, and it's just so exciting to be in that circle of people like that.
I love it. And that desire to lift each other up and to help others bring their visions forward as they're bringing their own vision forward is an amazing group of people to be a part of and to support. and to work with. And I've had the opportunity of getting to read your book, and I'm very excited about its release. And I wanted to see if you'd mind taking a moment and sharing a little bit about your book and when it's coming out and some of the things people can look forward to discovering and learning in it.
Well, I appreciate you asking that. Yeah, it comes out on Amazon May 19th, and then June or July it'll be softcover. And you can sign up at brepicbusiness.com to get on the email list. But, there was never any intent to write a book. I just had created this list of 30 things that I had learned from amazing people, and I have a giant social media following, and I posted that list, and what happened was people just kept saying, you have to write a book on this, you have to write a book on this. People were printing out the list and bringing it to meetings. And so the way my brain works now is when enough of those people just tell me to do something, I know it will be good for me, so I did it. And the book was written in 43 days, which is, I'm assuming that's not normal, but the way my brain is, it's just like it just poured out of me. And man, I'm just really pumped about it because I know it will help people, entrepreneurs who are currently entrepreneurs or people who are thinking about starting their own businesses. I know it's going to have a profound impact on people's lives and their careers as well.
I'm so excited about it, and I found what you wrote to be inspiring and thought-provoking and great to be considering and looking at as I've looked at my businesses. And so I thank you so much for leaning in, listening to all of those voices that encouraged you to bring it forward. So everyone, I hope you wrote that date on your calendar. May 19th, it will be released. And I know he's doing a special best-selling campaign around that, which means you can get that amazing book for $1. The Kindle version, the digital version, will be available starting on May 19th. So do make sure to write that on your calendar, get the word out, and we just can't wait to share your book with the world. We're excited to bring it forward. So looking at this book that you've created, looking at the journey that you've had with your business, what's one of the most important things you've learned since starting your business? What would you share with people that are perhaps in that first year, because you were saying, or they're thinking about stepping in, because you were saying it takes 2 years to really have clarity? What would you share with them?
Don't expect success overnight. So knock on wood, I think my business is rare in that it was successful pretty much right away. I came into it with a giant network of people that could help me. But to get my first 5 clients, I reached out to 5,000 people. So 1 out of 1,000 led to an actual client. So just keep that in mind that, it's all sunshine and rainbows now, but, being an entrepreneur is very, very difficult. So I think one of the chapters in the book, and it goes along with the 2-year time frame, is building relationships. It's a lot like planting seeds and waiting for the crop to come up or the fruit to pop out. And I didn't know that when I started the business. So meetings that I had 2.5, even 3 years ago, those are now starting to lead to introductions or people becoming clients. And at the time of those meetings, I had no clue what would happen because I'd never heard from those people for 1, 2, even 2.5 years. And so what I found is that groundwork that was laid a long time ago is now starting to pay off. So businesses are they very organically grow, and it takes time for them to develop. Again, very much like a crop or a fruit tree or things like that. And it's something that people, I don't necessarily think they understand when they start a business. So it's something to have perspective, that it takes years to figure things out.
Thank you for sharing, because I think that's not a message that a lot of people are given, and then they can get disillusioned or discouraged early on versus taking a longer term view and really building a healthy, vibrant crop. It takes time and attention. So thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Happy to do so.
Yeah. And I just... thinking back on our conversation and looking ahead at the book coming out and specializing in creating these viral stories, I'd love for you to give a piece of advice or a tip around that type of communication versus social media posts versus doing a traditional press release. Do you mind sharing just a little bit of how those are different? Because I think sometimes in people's minds, they think media is all the same thing. And what you do is very unique and is very powerful. And I'd love for people to understand a little bit more about it.
Sure. So I could talk about this for years, but so I was a journalist for 20 years before I started this, and I created my entire business model based on how PR firms annoyed me for those 20 years with press releases that were totally useless to the journalists. So my firm creates actual stories that are interesting, and then I pitch those stories to media around the world. That's very Cliff Notes, bare bones what my firm does. So the beauty of that is it works in any market, any size business, any vertical, and I'm working around to the main point of your question in terms of like nobody cares essentially what you do, they care about who you are. So the good thing is when they care about who you are, they will care about what you do. So typical PR firms write these awful press releases that are just complete garbage and useless, and as a journalist you get hundreds of these a day, and they're from somebody you don't know. So my firm creates interesting stories that media is served by, and then they want to do that story, and I have relationships with those media. So everybody wins, and in the end, the client wins as well because they're getting to share these amazing stories with the world that make them look good and their businesses look good as well.
Beautiful. I love that. And that people want to read and that people want to publish and share out. So there's a win-win-win all around. And I think that's really, really powerful.
So I'm pitching, so I'll just give you an example. So one of my clients is a billionaire who has created a foundation where he's donated hundreds of millions of dollars to helping kids in disadvantaged communities get full rides to colleges like Harvard and Stanford and places like that. So one of the stories I'm pitching for this organization, it's called the Schuler Scholar Foundation. It's amazing. They're two brothers. They're both undocumented immigrants, and they're both Ivy League graduates. So it's like that's a story that, I mean, media would be crazy not to do that story. You know what I mean? So pretty much every story that my firm writes is maybe not to that degree, but they're all interesting, and they're all something that media would actually want to do. And that's the difference between that and the standard junkie press release.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that because I just think there's a lot of myths and misunderstandings around that. So I appreciate you adding that additional information. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I encourage you to take these 2 minutes and stop for a moment and think about, are you giving yourself and your business and your goals time? Are you planting those seeds and allowing room and time for them to grow? Are you allowing people to know you, not just what you do or bring to the world? Really great things to be thinking about. Use these next 2 minutes to really listen to what's being spoken into your heart and to your spirit. And we will look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
We're with you wherever Alexa and Google are. At home, in the car, on your smart TV, and your connected devices.
Hey, Alexa.
Hey, Google. Play my favorite Voice America podcast on TuneIn.
It's just that easy. But don't forget to make sure you actually mention the name of the podcast show to make it work.
Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Find out about new shows, featured guests, and what's up this week. Find us on Facebook by searching keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com and make the most of an incredible life transformation. Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network by keeping up with us on Twitter. You can find us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself that opportunity to stop and breathe and be present and really receive the information that's being placed on your heart and your spirit, perhaps exploring some new ways you could share getting your message out there and bringing that forward in a powerful and effective way. Perhaps as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur thinking about stepping into that space, allowing time for business and relationships to grow, and then thinking about how are you getting that message out there? Because that's all a part of moving things forward in a powerful way that's aligned with you. Well, we're going to continue our conversation and looking at how we can spring forward. How can we build things with community, with connections, with relationships? How can we do that in an abundant and powerful way? Our next amazing guest experts are going to give us insights and tips and advice on exactly how to do that. So let me introduce them. Joseph and Jasmine Mims are founders of Abundant Culture, a company that seeks to spread abundance through creative investment partnerships, financial education, and improving the company cultures that you are in. They are podcast hosts of the Abundant Culture podcast, and they have helped grow a coffee shop franchise, 138 units of apartments, and an online automated drop shipping business. They are passionate about creating an abundant culture in your life and in your business. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Joseph and Jasmine Mims to the show. Welcome.
Thank you for having us onto the show.
I'm excited to have you both here. Welcome, welcome. And I love this concept of abundance, and that you've built a company and an organization around helping people step into more abundance and bring that forward in so many different ways. And I'd like to ask you both a question, and I don't know if one of you wants to take this question or if you both want to answer it. I'd love to hear from both of you if you feel so inclined, but I'd love to know why. Why is creating Abundant Culture and the podcast and all the different ways that you're supporting people and living in an abundant way, why is that personally so important to you?
Well, for me, honestly, I grew up in what you can consider poverty. It just really depends on who you ask. But, my financial background isn't great at all. There have been times where, all the utilities were, cut off in the house. And, I have some very traumatic experience that were tied to not having enough money. And what I wanted to do was create this company where we give people the option of abundance, because without the correct knowledge, you don't have an option depending on where you come from. If I didn't get this knowledge, I would have continued to stay there. So it's something that's truly important to me because I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck or even below paycheck to paycheck. And I want to give people the opportunity to not ever have to experience that through knowing how to invest in creative, financial education. So that's why it's very important to me.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing. And Jasmine, how would you answer that question?
For myself, I would consider abundance directly tied to my confidence. And by that, I mean, I grew up kind of in a similar situation as Joe. We both kind of grew up in poverty. However, the poverty mindset is what hit me the hardest, just because I realized as we began our entrepreneur career, I realized that I had like that scarcity mindset. I had a poverty mindset, and I also didn't really have that much confidence in myself. It was something I kind of learned subconsciously as I was growing up. And for me, I want people to know that they can achieve whatever they want. And by spreading abundance, I feel like we're able to help people with that confidence issue.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing, and both of you coming together so powerfully to help people in this way. So looking forward to all the information that you're going to share with us today, but I appreciate you sharing that why. I always think that's important to know about people and what causes them to step forward and why it matters to them. So I really appreciate you both sharing.
No problem.
So the next question I'd like to ask, because you both have grown and supported multiple businesses, and I think a question people are curious about or would like to know is, how do you do that? How do you grow multiple businesses and maintain them? Where do you start? How do you do that? How do you manage that?
Yeah, so the way I really look at it is it really starts with the abundant mindset. And I always tell people, especially people that I coach, whether it be in finance, business, or anything else, I always tell them, be willing to make $50,000 and outsource everything as opposed to working your butt off and making six figures. And that's really how we manage to really scale and, raise capital for multiple projects, because we're not looking to, drain every single business for, all the cash flow that we can actually get from it. We're willing to pay a manager, very good managers, to really act on our behalf, and they report to us and we strategize with them. So it cuts our workload in half. So, for example, right now, we only ever go to our coffee shop like one day out of a week for like a couple hours. Everything else is handled. So it's really about be willing to pay somebody to represent you and what you stand for, but also just building a team around you and being able to create employment opportunities for them, because, I feel like that's something that, this country struggles with sometimes, is being able to offer everyone employment. So I love being a person that, cuts the check every week or every 2 weeks to somebody who is really willing to spread the word about my business and service the customer that I want to serve. So it really comes from having teams and thinking abundantly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about that, and that delegating, the importance of teams and not trying to do it all on your own, because that will just lead to burnout, not sustainable. So beautiful.
Absolutely.
And with that, what types of opportunities do you look for when you're looking at businesses and you're looking at creating those employment opportunities and those types of things? What sort of businesses do you look for?
So and I'm pretty sure Jasmine could chime in on this a little bit, but one of the things I look for is I always start with an industry expert, because if you look at, I take a lot of inspiration from Warren Buffett, the owner of Berkshire Hathaway. You know, he's like either the second or third richest man in the world at any given time. And if you look at his expertise, he's a finance guy. He's an investment guy, but he owns shares in Dairy Queen as well as many other types of companies that he's probably never really worked in. And really, what I look for is, all right, who knows this industry better than almost anybody in their area? And when I find that person, I try to find ways to partner with that person and say, you know, sometimes it's a franchise. It's a upfront fee and then a continual royalty to really have their ongoing support. Sometimes I can be looking at an already existing business, and I can, you know, buy that business from that person, but keep them on as a consultant because, you know, when they sell it to you, they still want it to be around, you know, well after they're pretty much done with it. So there's a lot of things that we look for, but I think the main thing is an industry expert that we can really lean on so we don't have to know everything.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing. And Jasmine, if you had something you wanted to add to that or talk about how we can help people spring forward, I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of those.
Yep. So as far as the first question, I would say the most important thing that we look for in our investments in the real estate and the companies that we buy is really for it to be somewhat passive. So since we raise capital for almost everything we do, that asset needs to be extremely passive for the person that invests with us. So we're like we're the grunt workers. We do all the legwork, but for us, we put those teams and systems in place so that it's still somewhat passive for ourselves too. Because we know that if we have to, like, for example, the coffee shop, if we have to be at the coffee shop 5 days a week making the drinks ourselves, then we don't have time for all of our other businesses and the admin work and the podcast and, like, any other projects that we have going on. So we just have to make sure that it's somewhat passive for ourselves, too, by having that team in place.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And do you mind sharing a tip or a piece of advice of how we can spring forward, keep that momentum going, bring those projects forward that we're wanting to bring forward? And Jasmine, I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that kind of keeps us going is our faith in God. We just got off our fast with our church. It was a 21-day fast, and we just got off the fast on Sunday. So during that time of fasting and prayer, we were seeking for God to speak to us about our personal life and our relationships and all of our businesses. So a way that we kind of keep the momentum going is keeping that passion for God to continue to speak to us and guide us in everything that we're doing, because we know we can't do it on our own.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. And Joseph, I wanted to give you an opportunity to comment as well, if you wanted to add to what Jasmine shared on springing forward and what helps you keep going.
Absolutely. And kind of to piggyback off of what she was saying and expand on that, another thing I would say is find a coach, a mentor, or advisor in whatever it is that you're doing. And the reason I say that is it's very strange how professional athletes have coaches, professional entertainers, whether they're singers, dancers, whatever the case. They have coaches and mentors. But for some reason, entrepreneurs and business feel that they don't need a coach, a mentor, or advisor in order to be successful. And that's not the truth at all. If you look at anybody who's successful, they have a coach or a mentor that they look up to and that they glean information from. And I feel like to expand on what Jasmine was saying about having faith in God and knowing that these things really can happen for you, what I notice is that for me, God works through people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I feel like God has really worked in my life through a lot of the mentors that I surround myself with. So I feel like, you know, going out, finding people who are absolutely just giants compared to you are, and even especially if they intimidate you a little bit. Those are a lot of times the best coaches, the best advisors, because they're so far ahead of you. If you can get them on your team and tell them, hey, I need help in this area, I'm willing to pay you or provide some type of service in exchange for you coaching me and helping me become better, I really do consider that to be a win-win situation, and it's the only reason why we are where we are today, because I didn't know anything about the coffee industry before I got into it, and I've improved the sales dramatically. I didn't know anything about e-commerce either, but I had a mentor who was very well-versed in that industry, and the same thing with real estate. So if you can find these coaches and mentors, you can literally hop from business to business and really just do whatever you want.
Beautiful. Thank you. What an important reminder that look for those. And I like that tip that if they intimidate you a little bit, that's probably a good sign. So leaning definitely in. That's beautiful, beautiful, getting that support so you can go where you're wanting to go and do what you haven't done yet, but you can get support and have a mentor and a coach to help you get there. So beautiful. Thank you both for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Yeah. And we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, I want to encourage our listeners to take a moment, stop, pause, and breathe. Use these 2 minutes to really listen to what's being spoken into your heart and into your spirit. What are you being prompted to step forward in, to take action on? Reflect back on the show today, and what are some of the things that you want to take a moment and process so that you can start to integrate into your life. And with that, we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
We're with you wherever Alexa and Google are. At home, in the car, on your smart TV, and your connected devices.
Hey, Alexa.
Hey, Google. Play my favorite Voice America podcast on TuneIn.
It's just that easy. But don't forget to make sure you actually mention the name of the podcast show to make it work.
Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Find out about new shows, featured guests, and what's up this week. Find us on Facebook by searching keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation. Find out what's happening on the Voice America Talk Radio Network by keeping up with us on Twitter. You can find us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and you were able to make some quick notes on things that you're wanting to process or wanting to look into or step forward in. And here's an extra credit bonus opportunity for those of you who like that. I want to encourage you to take a couple minutes after the show ends and really think about those next steps that you want to take today, real time. So that as you take a moment to breathe, process, and choose, you're stepping forward on purpose and with purpose. And that starts now. It's not someday. It's every breath. We have a choice that we can choose to step forward purposely. And I want to invite you to take a couple moments at the end of the show to really give yourself that opportunity to be purposeful as you go back out into the world. And I have really enjoyed the conversation with our amazing experts today. I've been thrilled to have you joining us. And what I wanted to do is give you each an opportunity to be able to connect further with our amazing guests. I'd love for you to have the access and opportunity to connect with them on a deeper level. So with that, Justin, I'd like to start with you. What is the way that people can follow you, they can connect in with you further?
No, I appreciate you asking. The website for the book is brepicbusiness.com. That's B as in boy, R-E, P as in pony, I, C as in cobra, business.com, brepicbusiness.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then do you have a piece of advice or a tip for us today?
2 things. Very simple. Your network equals your net worth, and find your tribe.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then let's start with Jasmine. I'd love for you to share how people can go deeper and connect in with you both.
Yep. So you can find all of our links to the podcast and all of our social media channels on our main website, which is www.abundantculture.co. So that's .co, not .com.
Perfect. Thank you. We want to make sure we go to the right place. So that's perfect. And then, Joseph, I didn't know if you wanted, I don't want to exclude you. Did you have any other ways that you wanted people could follow you or stay in touch? Or if you want to repeat the website one more time, that's fine too.
Oh, yeah. We share a lot of our contacts. So the website is a good way. Again, www.abundantculture.co. And also, if you want to email us directly, our email address is info@abundantculture.co, like she said. And those are, I think, the 2 best ways in order to really follow us and get in contact with us. And also, you can sign up for our email newsletter on our website, where we give a financial tip every single week.
Beautiful. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. And then do you have, Joseph, I'll start with you, a piece of advice or a tip that you want to share with our listeners today?
Yes, definitely. The tip I have is destiny. Well, your discipline leads to your destiny. And the reason I say that is I think if you look at somebody's habits, you'll know exactly where they'll be in about 5 to 10 years. And I believe that business, entrepreneurship, investing, everything is about the long game. And I believe that you should have habits that will lead you to where you want to go.
Beautiful. Thank you. And how about you, Jasmine? Do you have a piece of advice or a tip or a reminder that our listeners can take with them as they get ready to go back out into the world?
Yes, the number one thing I would say is to remain open-minded to any possibility and opportunity that's presented to you.
Stay open. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you. And listeners, as you are getting ready to go back out into the world, I want to encourage you to do so in a purposeful way. I love, Joseph, what you're saying about the habits. Be mindful of your habits. And are they adding up to where you're wanting to go? Are you staying open to opportunities? Are you paying attention to your network and growing it and feeding into that? These are really important things to think about as you're looking at stepping forward and bringing forward those things that matter most to you. And I want to remind you that each of you are beautifully, wonderfully, and powerfully made, I believe, on purpose for such a time as this, that you are absolutely needed in this world. And I want to encourage you to be willing to share a little bit of who you are, a little bit more of who you are, a little bit more of your gifts. As you're springing forward, as you're stepping forward, find ways to share a little bit more of who you are with those around you. That is one of the greatest gifts that you bring to the world, because there's no one else just like you. So as you go forth and step mindfully and purposely and powerfully forward, I want to encourage you to do so with purpose and be willing to bring forward those things that matter most to you. Be willing to become what you need to become to build the things that matter most to you. And with that, wherever you go, whatever you do, be willing to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone. I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.